Hello everyone, I'm Ihara. In the previous video, I told you why I left 960. Because they're participating in the upcoming Hell level KVK. I believe you all know the results of our matchmaking. The matchmaking was successful. On this map, you can see that almost every kingdom has accessories. This is a bit different from the maps we've seen before. Previously, we saw that most Imperium Kingdom, there might only be one kingdom in each faction. Perhaps the authorities have taken this into consideration. If there's only one kingdom in each faction, there might be a numerical disadvantage. So now they all have multiple kingdoms. But just because 3 kingdoms are in the same faction doesn't mean they're the weakest. They just might have lower power. And they need other accounts to match their power. Here we can see 2,377 is at the top. And 2,489 is on the right. 1,606 is at the bottom. Then Baba's kingdom, 3,535, is on the left. There are 4 Imperium kingdoms here. 1,606 and 2,377 belong to the Golden Imperium Kingdom. Their combat power is higher, just above and below. That's because there's no way to choose your spawn point on this map right now. So it's officially assigned. But if we look at the previous version, that's before the changes. The faction above is usually the stronger alliance. The stronger faction will choose. The next strongest faction is 3rd and 4th. But the current distribution isn't like that. If we talk about strength, actually, this faction is the weakest in this map. The left-hand camp is the weakest. The results of their discussion have already been announced. Which kingdom will cooperate with which? Let's take a look. This is an official email from Arvix. He called us cuties, haha, okay. This time, the KVK distribution is 2,489 hours plus 1,606. Then 2,377 plus 3,251 3,535. This is the result most players want. Because I checked the official discussion forum. In fact, many players have said if 2,489 and 23 collaborate, they will forfeit the map. And I've seen many players prefer 2,489 and 2,377 to separate. But if we look at the players in their kingdoms, actually, there are quite a few Vietnamese players in these 2 kingdoms. So the possibility of collaboration is actually very high. But as expected, 2,489 and 1,606 are collaborating. As for what they discussed in their diplomacy, these aren't public. And I'm not in the diplomatic group, so I can't talk about it. Unless a player actually posts it in the discussion forum. Maybe we can discuss those things later. But I saw some players mention this in my comments section. Actually, there was already a possibility that 2,489 and 1,606 would collaborate. But I'm not sure about this, and I didn't ask. Anyway, the final outcome was that the 2 collaborated, so there's no need to ask any more questions. Then Arvix mentioned. To be honest, he actually doesn't know which faction is stronger, 1,606 or 2,377. Because 1,606 has more people. Because they have 3 kingdoms in one faction. You can see what I just said. But 2,377 has a longer recovery time. It's been quite a while since they last fought KVK. Do you remember? Their last KVK match was a 1v3 KVK match. 1,606 seems to have finished around the same time as 2,489. If I remember correctly, they actually just finished recently. 2,377 probably took 2 or 3 breaks from KVK registration. So 2,377 has more resources and a speed up, as mentioned here. So Arvix believes that if it's a war of attrition, 2,377 actually has a higher chance of victory. And it mentions that most of the Imperium kingdoms today all end in attrition. It's very similar to the situation between 960 and 1,093. Even though 1,093 has a large population, but 960 uses their abilities, resources, and speed up to deplete 1,093 ease. So what he said is quite correct. The kingdom with greater willpower, more resources, and speed up will win. Of course, 2,377 also has both, whether it's resource speed-ups, or whether their players have more energy. So, Arvix mentioned this. Even so, even if they're friends, it's fine. But this time, KVK felt it was best to deal with 2,377. Fight them, not collaborate with them. And needless to say, this will be our toughest KVK match yet. Because I fought 2,377 myself. They're not easy, they're really hard to beat. Do you remember when I played 960 against 2,377? Wow, I'm really exhausted. And it says here, we will meet 2,377 in District 5. So Arvix actually expected us to exhaust all our resources and speed up. He said that if you've already exhausted them before then, Then you should apply for immigration to 2748. Why? Because 2748 is also going to start the KVK. I'm not sure about this, so let me summarize here. It's best to prepare our resources and speed up. It's best to set aside a few days to rest. Also, invite your friends to help fight. Actually, it's all about help. But I believe most kingdoms on this map will offer help. It's not just 2489. Also, don't engage in a lot of trash talk in the Lost Lands. That kind of nonsense, sarcasm, and the like. I'll see you on the battlefield. Now let's return to the F2P realm. Let's continue to fight our barbarians. The barbarian stronghold awaits us. This was written by Arvix, not Ava. Because Ava's position is equivalent to Arvix's secretary. Many people think this might have been written by Ava. Okay, that's probably it. Because it only cost 2489 gold to accept a group of immigrant players, and some of the immigrant players may have come here right after the KVK. So you can see, many people are actually really short of resources to speed up. So we're constantly opening barbarian strongholds. Recovering your count. Okay, let's talk about this. What's the current situation with KVK? Then 2489 is at this position, and 1606 is at this position. Basically, it works like this. It goes diagonally like this, but the line isn't drawn very well. So you can see, what is the combat strength of 2489? And how many allies 2654 are there on the same side? The alliance of 1606 is also mentioned here. Alliances of other kingdoms. You can take a quick look, because you can see here that the 1606 faction has the highest combat power. And Baba's faction 3535. Their combat power is relatively high at 44 billion. Then this side has 45.6 billion. As for kills, the kill counts for 1606 and 2377 are closer. But if we're talking about the number of people, actually, the numbers for 2377 and 2489 then the kill count and combat power will be closer. So the ideal situation is when level 4 is unlocked. That is, when the 5th area is reached. That's 2377 versus 2489. Because each player has a different accessory. There's another kingdom in the same faction as them. So this way of fighting is more fair. Then 1606 will fight against the factions of these 3 kingdoms. In the 5th area. As you all know, I fought against 2377 before when I was at level 960. And I really admire 2377. Even though we defeated 2377 at that time. But 2377's execution capabilities, their player activity, strategy, and planning. Everything was very thorough. So this time I came to 2489. I'm not sure I can defeat 2377, to be honest. So this might be a big challenge for 2489. Plus, as Arvix just said, they have a longer rest period. Resources and speed-ups are both quite plentiful, so it should be difficult to deal with. But no matter what, I will also do my best to defeat KVK this time. Then I believe 2377 and the others will also give it their all, even after their king left. They fought very well. Furthermore, their former king has returned. You should all have heard this news. Plus, their kingdom includes a Russian father and son, so it's difficult to deal with. And I saw some of my former comrades. So, that's roughly what it's like. The results of this match. As for your opinions on this match's results. And what do you think of our collaboration method? Is it fair? Or what do you think would be a better way to collaborate? Let me know in the comments. Are you looking forward to this KVK? Of course, I'll also be doing a live stream when KVK starts. So I hope everyone will follow my channel. Then, when we play KVK, we'll watch your performance together. That's all for this episode. See you in the next video.